name's Ruth Ellen Brown. I'm a photographer and retoucher for editorial fashion and beauty brands. I went to school at quite a posh primary school called Fitzherbert in Derbyshire. Then I went to secondary school in Derbyshire before going on to the Falmouth School of Art in Cornwall. And I went through from foundation to masters in fine art there. I moved to Huddersfield after my MA when I met my partner Carl, who's a journalist. I mean, I was going to move back up north anyway because I was going to move back to Derbyshire, but after living with my parents for a little bit, I ended up moving up here. Well, I got interested in photography quite late. I picked up a camera during my degree. My best friend was a photographer at the time, so it was kind of rubbing off on me, I guess. And I quite enjoyed doing it because it suited my personality. But it was during my MA that I started taking it a little bit more seriously and became part of my practice. I think that my style is fairly consistent, but I try and get a clarity in the image. I quite like ambient images and a kind of delicacy to the styling as well, because I feel like a lot of commercial photographers, they'll go for really kind of over-the-top lighting, styling, and then just completely blast it out with the retouching. And I'm not that kind of photographer really. I like things to be really natural looking and just very crisp. I don't always take the right photograph the first time round. I tend to do a series of photographs and then I'll pick the best from that series and work with that for retouching. I would say that my style has really evolved on its own. It evolved on my MA when I was kind of documenting my parents' house and pushing the camera to its extremes in a lot of ways, kind of documenting different angles that you wouldn't ordinarily see in a house. And just, I think what I did is push it to its extremes and then I brought it back to something that I was comfortable with. But since then, I think probably my biggest photography idol is Clive Booth, my next door neighbour at home. And he's a photographer who works in the fashion industry, but he does a lot of ambient photography, which sort of echoes what I was doing on my MA, but in a much more commercial and professional way. My studio is called Ruth Ellen Brown Photographic, or REB Photographic, and the kind of work I do, it really ranges from kind of sort of advertising imagery for campaigns that might go global to simple product shots. It's just myself, but occasionally I have in the past outsourced retouching when I've had really big jobs on. I find it really difficult. I find it quite difficult to find the time to do personal work, so I end up stealing time from myself, sort of, and just making time. If I really want to do a project, then I'll just go and do it and take time out of my working schedule. I enjoy both, but I get a different kind of enjoyment out of the personal work, definitely. To me, it's kind of more meaningful. I mean, the commercial work is quite repetitive, but I quite enjoy just doing a good job for people, and it really suits me, my personality, to do that as well. But the personal work is kind of like where I get into the nitty-gritty of a situation, and I'll kind of portray the ambience or atmosphere of a situation, and I like telling stories through my personal work as well, whether it's a story about something someone does, like a blacksmith, or if it's a story about a place. I got in touch with the Prince's Trust when I came up to live up here in the north, actually, because I was going through quite a hard time financially and personally, and so I did the Creative Enterprise course, which was a course in Huddersfield, and they told me that a grant might be available for starting up a business. So I applied for the grant and they gave me £2,000 to start my business, which was huge at the time. And I bought my first set of lights and camera with the money. And since then, my business has done well and it's kind of flourished. So they invited me back to be an ambassador. And now I'm quite enjoying being an ambassador. Get to travel all over the country, meet quite a few interesting people and some of the bigger investors for the Prince's Trust, as well as donors and special events like red carpet events. But yeah, I was kind of selected to give a speech at this event, and it was a VIP charity event related around the fashion industry at the Café Royal Hotel in London, and I gave a speech to just over 200 people in the fashion industry, and the main people that were attending were sort of the CEO of the British Fashion Council and Eric Musgrave, the director of Draper's magazine. I really love it. I totally get into a zone where it's like I disappear, basically. I guess it's like the flow state where you're really enjoying something so much. But I really like working with independent designers and especially recently heritage crafts as well. I think because my dad was a woodworker when I was a child, and he was really into antiques and restoring antiques. I think that kind of element of craft has rubbed off on me, and I've got quite an appreciation of heritage and craft now. I really just like to develop my portfolio creatively and maybe be published more widely, and think about maybe getting an agent, and building a reputation really, because I think in the fashion industry it's a lot about your character and sort of maintaining a good reputation and being professional, and I think a lot of it is to do with sort of discretion, and when you're working with designers and they're bringing out products that no one's seen, and their competitors definitely are not allowed to see it. I think you kind of learn sort of to conduct yourself in quite kind of a professional way, really.